Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I'm decluttering all of my eyeshadow and face palettes, and this video has been a very long time coming because it's one of those where I know that I have a lot of stuff, and even for me all those eyeshadow and face palettes were so many in there, and after I counted them I think it worked out that I had about 70 palettes, and that is a lot. And for me to say it's a lot, you know it's a lot because I have a hell of a lot of makeup. So in that drawer is the biggest of the Alex 9 drawers, and I also had other face palettes and eyeshadow palettes in different drawers as well. So if you're new to my channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and also make sure to hit the bell icon just so you're notified every time I upload a new video. So like I mentioned, this video has been a very long time coming, and I'm one of those people where in my last declutter videos I've seen palettes that I really like and gone, you know what, I am going to use it. And I actually got to a point where I had an eyeshadow palette for about 4 years. I'd never used it, I'd only swatched it, and I was very ruthless and I was like, oh, I need to get rid of it because I know for a fact I'm not going to use it. And I'm just sort of thinking, you know, if I know that I'm not going to use it, there's no point in me having it, and I might as well just give it to someone else that can use it. And I really do enjoy doing these declutter videos. I love watching them, I love doing them because I find it really nice and soothing to actually see how much stuff that people can get rid of. And I actually got rid of quite a lot in here. I wish I'd got rid of more palettes, but I feel like I did really well because there's some in there that I have kept for a very long time and thought, you know what, I'm going to use them. This time I was like, no, I'm going to get rid of it. I know that I'm not going to use it, so I feel like I did pretty well in this as well. And if you want to see the rest of my declutter videos, I will link them down below for you so you can check them out because I have done quite a lot in there. I've also done different makeup collections and things like that as well. So if you want to see me declutter all of my eyeshadow and face palettes, then just keep watching. So today I'm going to be decluttering all of my face and eyeshadow palettes, and everything is in this drawer right here, and not everything can fit in here, so I do have other things in different drawers. So in here I have all of my face and eyeshadow palettes, and honestly I have absolutely no idea how many palettes I actually have in here because as you can see there's actually more underneath here, and then underneath here I have loads as well. I also have some more from different drawers as well, so I have this one, I have my Frozen ones from Colourpop, I have my Tarte Beauty one, Jeffree Star Conspiracy, another Morphe palette. So literally I have so many in here that I can't actually fit in the drawers, so I really need to declutter because there's a lot of stuff in here that I don't use, some stuff I have used that I don't really like it and stuff like that, and there's actually only a couple of palettes that I do use on a daily basis. So I'm just going to take all of these off here. And yeah, like I mentioned, I'm not too sure how many palettes I have, but I know that I have a hell of a lot in here, and it all just needs to go because no one needs this amount of palettes. Even if it's face palettes or eye palettes, no one needs this amount. And looking in here, it looks like some of these I've already decluttered anyway, which is really weird for me because for some reason they have made their way back into this drawer, and I don't know why because they should have gone ages ago. Also, if you can see my leggings as well, please do not mind those. I am working from home, so I am really nice and comfy at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and go into the drawer. I'm not going to work in any particular order. I'm just going to pull things out, decide if I want to keep them or if I don't, and then in the end we'll see how many I get rid of and how many I keep. So because these can't fit in this drawer and they actually go into a different drawer, I'm just going to go through these ones first. So these are the Colourpop Frozen 2 ones, and I have the full sets in here. So I have the eyeshadow palette, which looks stunning, haven't used it, have the lipstick, the dust, and then also the lip gloss. I'm going to keep this, going to keep the other one as well, again absolutely stunning, haven't used it, but I will be probably doing a tutorial with them because you can still pick these up from Colourpop. And then I'm just going to put these on top as well because these ones obviously can't fit anywhere. So the next one is the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson Conspiracy palette. I managed to get my hands on this really easily. So I went into the Morphe store in Birmingham, and this was on the same day that this came out, and I completely forgot this came out on that day. They had loads in the store, but by the time that I went to pay for them, they pretty much had nothing. So I picked up one for me and one for my sister. Honestly, this packaging is amazing. Just look at how stunning it is. So you've probably already seen loads of reviews on this. I actually have only used this once, and I'm not really creative with colours and things like that, so that is what the palette looks like. So it is such a beautiful palette, but I know that there's some shades that I know that I'm not going to use. The annoying thing that me and my sister had about this was when we were watching the documentary, there was one beautiful mermaid green shade and it's not in the palette, and we really wanted it in there. So I have used a couple of these shades. As you can see, I've used Dark Root Beer, and I've used Just a Theory, Diet Cola. I actually think that's all that I've used. Oh, and wrench as well, because I'm one of those people that doesn't really go crazy with my eyeshadow. So I did try this out. I did like it, but I've never ever had a Jeffree Star palette before, so I have no idea what the pigmentation is meant to be like. My sister has pretty much every Jeffree Star palette and she loves them, but I do like this. I do feel like I'm going to need to get some more use out of it. I also do have the box and everything that it came in as well, so I do like to keep this on my drawer in my Morphe bag because I just think it's a really good piece. Another one that I almost forgot to talk about is this one right here. This is the Urban Decay Alice in Wonderland palette. I have never used this, but this is one of those pieces where it's like a collector's piece, and I wasn't really one of those people before that basically bought things to be a collector's piece and not use them. I usually buy things to actually use them, but this, I just saw it on the website when it came out and it's just so stunning. So that's what it looks like when you open it up, and then open these bits up and it has the wings. And in all honesty, I think this and a small Urban Decay palettes are the only ones that I actually own, because it's always one of those where people say they're either good or they're bad, and this is what it looks like. So you do also get a brush in there. Again, never used it. I think I've swatched a couple of shades. I think I've swatched this one, the Duchess one. It's such a beautiful piece, but again, I haven't used it, but I'm going to keep this because it's such a beautiful thing to have. And I have the BH Cosmetics Blush Neutrals 26 colour eyeshadow and blush palette. I'm going to get rid of this because I've never ever used it. I haven't even swatched it. I thought that I'd zoom in a little bit more just so you can see all the palettes. So the next one is the Tati Beauty palette. This one is volume 1. I am going to keep this. Haven't used it yet. It is brand new to my collection and I just can't wait to use it because it is just so stunning. This next one is the Morphe 35T palette. Now, as you can see, it looks like I've used it quite a lot, but I don't remember. I'm one of those where I don't really remember my Morphe palettes. I do think it's really pretty. I don't think I've really used it. I think I did like it. Yeah, even the swatches are really, really nice and I hardly even touched that. So I did use a couple of shades out of this. I think this one's going to go in the maybe pile at the moment just because, oh, it's one of those where it is pretty, but I don't know if I'm going to use it. So this one is going to be in a maybe pile. BH Cosmetics Pride, Prejudice and Zombies Iron Cheek palette. I am going to get rid of this. I have just swatched it there. I think I swatched that one and that one. Haven't used anything out of this. It's quite old. Like I mentioned, haven't used it, so I'm going to go and get rid of it. Then I have these two Illuminate Cosmetics Glow Up palettes, and I actually bought these just before Christmas, but then Illuminate Cosmetics has now been closed because it was Ashley Tisdale's makeup line. I really enjoyed it. Haven't used these before, but these just look really, really good. So yeah, even they are really stunning. So I wish that she would bring it back because honestly, I just love the line. Everything that I've tried is so good, so I'm going to keep this, and I think I'm going to keep the other one as well. I have the cool and the warm one. Yeah, they just look really, really beautiful, so I'm going to keep both of these. I have my Smashbox Spotlight palette. This one is a highlight palette. I love this. I use this a lot, so this is going to be staying with me. And then this one is, oh, I think this one's a small version of the Spotlight palette. So yeah, absolutely love it. This one's a travel size, so keeping this. Then here I have the Revolution Brighter Than My Future Pro HD palette. Gonna get rid of this because I know that I'm not going to use it. I don't really like palettes like this. Get the Pretty Started Bronze Blush and Highlight palette from Benefit. I got this before Christmas and I think I got it reduced to like £13 or something like that. It was super, super cheap. So you get the Hoola, California and What's Up. I've never ever used a California, but I've heard it's really good. Never used a What's Up, and I really like the Hoola. So if this is a good palette, this would be perfect for traveling. So I'm going to keep this because it looks really good and it's so handy for travel as well. And I also have some Cab Cosmetics palettes as well, which are down here if I can get them out. So I do have 3 of the Cab Cosmetics palettes. These are the palettes that's created by Kim Zolciak Biermann and her 2 daughters Brielle and Ariana. But I do really like these and I am playing with them quite a lot and I just think they're really good. So this is one of the highlighter palettes that I have. This one's called Buttercream. So this one is one for the lighter skin tones. This one is the Sugar Rush palette, which again is a highlighter palette, and this one's for darker skin tones. And then this one is the blush palette in Strawberry Shortcake, and this is just absolutely stunning. I love these because you can build them up, so you can have them as natural looks, then you can build them up to look more vibrant, and they're just really good. So I really like these and I'm going to be keeping all of them. And I have this palette as well, which is Strong Soul from Revolution. I don't think I've ever used this. I think this might have been something that I got a free gift, but I'm not going to open it up because I'm not going to keep it. As you can see, there's still cellophane on there, so I'm not going to keep this because I believe that it's, yeah, it's a contour palette, so it's something that I'm not going to use, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Then back here I have a Carly Bible BH Cosmetics palette. I used to be obsessed with this. I remember I took this to America ages and ages ago. This was years ago when it first came out, and it was absolutely stunning. So I'm going to keep this. I think I also have another one. Yeah, I have another one back there, so I'm going to keep that as well because they are just really good palettes. I don't use them that often, but I have already got rid of one of them because I've used it a lot, so I'm going to be keeping that one as well when I can get it out. Then I have this Wild and Radiant palette, which is a baked illuminating bronzing palette from BH Cosmetics. This looks absolutely stunning. I have never ever used this. I feel like I've seen this before, but I don't know where. I don't know if I've even used it. I don't know if you can still get this anymore, but I do actually like their baked eyeshadows that they do. I think that they're really, really good and so highly pigmented. But this is what this looks like, and it is just so stunning, but I don't think I'm going to use it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in the maybe pile, and then I've also got some eyeshadows down here, and these ones are the Rimmel ones and these are the quads, and I have never used these. I'm more of a person that likes to use like neutral colours and things like that, and I don't think any of these are going to suit me, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these. And then I've also got this one here, again absolutely beautiful, but never used it, never swatched it, never opened it, so I'm going to get rid of it as well. And then I've got some more palettes here. So this one is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette. This one's in the shade Dolce de Leche. So I've never used this. I got this years and years ago, and it is still available now, and people do really like it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this and try it out. I know that I say that every single declutter video, but I'm going to try it out and see how it goes. This one is the Tarte BU Naturally palette. This one is my go-to. I did use this in my makeup tutorial, which is the summer one. I love this. I think it's absolutely stunning. The shades are beautiful. It smells like chocolate, and I don't know if you can still get this, but it's one of my favourites, and I will continue to use it. And I have this e.l.f. Beautifully Bare Total Face palette, and this one is soft and subtle. So I believe that they brought this out when they were doing like a natural makeup line, and this is what the packaging looks like, so it's absolutely beautiful. It is a shimmer version of the e.l.f. palette that they usually have, and I like that. That's a blush palette and it's so good. So this is what this palette looks like. As you can see, all I've done is swatch it, and I do like it. I think it looks beautiful. So what I'm going to do is keep this. I'm going to try it out a little bit and see how it goes. Here I have the e.l.f. blush palette. So this one is the black matte version, so it's exactly the same as the other palette that I've just shown you, but this one is the light version, and this one is so good. Honestly, I use this so much. It's one of my go-to palettes. It's super affordable as well. I got it in America. Good thing about this as well is if you have a look on the back, you can actually push out all of these blushes so you can make your own palette. So for instance, if I didn't want this one in here, I could just basically push it out like this, and I could change it up with a different one, which I think is so good. I don't know if they still do that with these palettes, because I think this one might be an old one. I think I've got a new one somewhere in here, and I've just had a look in this drawer up here, and I do have another one of the blush palettes, so I'm going to get rid of the other one because I know it's old, and keep this one because I really like it, and this one is a new one, so I haven't used it. Also, I will be decluttering this drawer. As you can see, it is quite crazy, so I will be decluttering this drawer on another day, but that one is going to be another day, and it's going to take me a very long time to do. Bronze Paradise palette again. I don't think you can get this, so I'm just going to double check now to see if you can get it. I don't think you can, but from looking at it, from what I remember, it is this stunning palette. Just look at how beautiful that is. That is absolutely stunning. You know what? I know that I'm not going to use this, so I might as well just go ahead, give it to someone else. It's not even been swatched. This is literally all I've done is just look at it. So I'm not going to use it, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to someone else. And then I've got some of these palettes here. So I've got some smaller palettes and some larger palettes here, and then my massive Morphe palettes. There's some more down here. So this one is the Ariel Part of Your World palette. This one was from Sephora. From what I remember, it was a really bad palette. It was limited edition, but it's one of those where it is Disney, and it's one of those collector's pieces. And it just looks absolutely beautiful. The annoying thing is these colours just, they're not very good. They're not highly pigmented or anything like that. But I think I've used it once. It is a beautiful palette, but just not a lot of payoff. But I'm going to keep it because it is a limited edition piece, and it is just really beautiful. So this one is probably always going to stay in my makeup collection, even though it's super, super old. Then I have this Essence Light Up Your Face Luminizer palette. I love this palette. As you can see, I've used it almost to death. You can't get this anymore, but it's such a good drugstore product that I can use when I'm going to work and things like that. And I think they do have another face palette, but this one you can't get. I think it's beautiful. I'm going to keep it, and I love it. And then I've got some Smashbox palettes as well. So I have the Cover Shot Sultry Eye Palette, which I don't think I've ever used. Yeah, but this one is absolutely beautiful. So you can see it's like a smoky eye palette, so keeping that because I love Smashbox eyeshadows. This one I think is my most worn one. Yeah, this one's my most worn one, and I think this one's in a blaze. Yeah, this one's a blaze. This is absolutely stunning. As you can see, I've used this like crazy. It is just so good, and definitely keeping them because they are amazing quality. And I have this Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. I forgot that I had this, but this is so nice. So this does smell a little bit like peanut butter, and oh, it smells amazing. I love peanut butter. I love peanut butter on toast. It's like my favourite breakfast. And you do have some eyeshadow looks in here. I think this is really beautiful. Haven't used it in a long time, but I do like the palette, and I'm thinking that if I put it in here and clear out a lot of stuff, then I will be more inclined to use it. But I love it and I'm going to keep it. Then I have the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, and this one is, I think, the original one. So this is actually really good. It's not as pigmented as other palettes, but as you can see, I've pretty much used it to death. So this is actually how much I've used this palette. As you can see, it's so loved. I don't actually use the black for anything, but all the other ones I do use. I think it's really good, but it is very, very natural and very neutral. So I do like it. I feel like that I will need to use it again, but if I haven't used it by the next time that I do a declutter, then I'm just going to get rid of it. But at the moment, I'm going to keep it. And then I have some more small palettes. I have the Wet n Wild Not a Basic Peach palette. I love these types of palettes. These ones are the 10 eyeshadows and they're so good. This one I am obsessed with, and I think this one's called Rose in the Air. As you can see, I've used this a lot. So that's how much I've used this palette. As you can see, I have loved it to death, and it is just so good. It's super, super affordable, and it's also a dupe of the Smashbox Blaze palette as well, which I showed you. It's so good, really highly pigmented, and super, super affordable. And with the Not a Basic Peach, haven't used it, but I know it's going to be as good as the other Wet n Wild one. So good, super affordable, love these palettes, keeping this. This one is the Revolution Beach and Surf palette. I really bought this ages ago when I first brought it out, because it was supposed to be a dupe of the, I think Bobbi Brown did an eyeshadow palette years ago, and I really wanted that one, but obviously I would never spend the amount for it because I never knew if I'd use it. I don't even know how to open this.
How do you even open this palette? Do you slide it? I don't even know yet. Oh!
You don't slide it, you just open it like this. So this actually looks like a really beautiful palette. I think I swatched it once, but it just crumbles quite a lot. I know that I'm not going to use it. I've had it for years, haven't used it yet, so I think I'm just going to get rid of it because I don't think you can even get this anymore anyway. Then I have this one from the Balm. This is the Luminizer Sisters. So this one is the Mary Luminizer, Cindy Luminizer and Betty Luminizer. I have these two, which I absolutely love. These are amazing highlighters. Don't have the Betty Lou, I don't think. I might have the Betty Lou, but I'm not too sure. But these two are absolutely stunning. So this one is just a palette of all three of them. So this one is perfect for travel. Also, if you do want to try these out instead of buying the full size, it's perfect. But I'm going to keep this. And then I have one more small palette right here. And this one is the Dior 5 Colours Designer Eyeshadow Palette. And I honestly don't really use this, but I did get this for Christmas years and years ago from Neil. And it is the most expensive eyeshadow palette that I ever would own, and this is what it looks like. So this one is like a smoky eye palette, and I just think it's so beautiful. The only thing is, like I mentioned, I haven't really used it all. I think I've used it twice. I just love the colours in here. I don't think they're super, super pigmented, but that is a beautiful shade. I think it's stunning, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this. And then I have these palettes, which I'm just going to bring out because they're the ones on the side. So Carly Bible, keeping that one. Then I have these ones from Illuminate Cosmetics. So you can't get the Illuminate Cosmetics brand anymore, like I mentioned, because it's now been closed down. So I have two of the Beach Goddess palettes. This is what they look like. I love these palettes, so amazing. I used my last one to death. It was pretty much falling apart. I had like no eyeshadow left. Keeping these two because they are amazing. This one's a Goddess palette, keeping this one as well. I think I've only used this a couple of times, and even though I can't get it anymore, I love these eyeshadows. I just think they're so good, and it's perfect for travel as well. And I have the Nikkie Tutorials palette as well from Too Faced. Now I actually really like this palette. I know that quite a lot of people didn't like it because they were saying that it wasn't as pigmented as other eyeshadows from Too Faced. I really like this. I know that a lot of people didn't like this palette. I love this palette. I actually thought it was really good. I love the Chocolate Soleil bronzer in there. I love the highlighter. I love the bronzers. Like literally everything I love about this palette. I actually think it's pretty pigmented, but I know that a lot of people didn't like this palette because they were saying that it wasn't as pigmented as other ones. I think it's a whole thing of that some of them might have been a bad batch, or I've heard so much controversy about this palette, but I actually like it and I'm going to keep it. And this one is the 3-in-1 kit, which is Shape Matters palette. I got this years ago. Going to be keeping it because I absolutely love it. I just think it's stunning, and yeah, it's really good for travel. I know it is quite big, but you have pretty much everything in there. So you have your brows, you have contour, highlighter, eyeshadows, you have everything that you need for a palette in here. So I'm going to keep it because I love it, and I know I say that in every single video. This is a palette that I keep going backwards and forwards with every single year because it was very expensive. It was an expensive eyeshadow palette, and this one is the Estee Edit Kendall Jenner one. I don't think Estee Edit is a thing anymore. I think because the products weren't really the best from the reviews that I've seen. This eyeshadow palette I was so excited about. I could only get this in Selfridges because it sold out everywhere, and this was when it actually did come out. And I was actually really upset with this because I thought it was going to be an amazing palette. It doesn't blend that well at all. I think it's good that you can have transformers on there as well, so you can have it looking good in black light and stuff like that. And I do think that's good. Just for me, it didn't really work the best. I mean, they are nice eyeshadows, but they're not that pigmented. And when you think of Morphe and Smashbox and even Wet n Wild, how pigmented Wet n Wild is, it's just not that good. But the only reason I keep it is because it's so expensive. I think this was about £40, and if I'd swatched it in store, I wouldn't have bought it. And then as you can see, I do have a lot of Morphe palettes here because I do like Morphe, and I feel like I need to get rid of some of them because I don't use them all the time. I've also got some more palettes here, so I'm going to go through these ones first and then do the Morphe ones. So this one is my Smashbox face palette. This one is the Sculpting Cheek palette. I got this a couple of years ago for Christmas. Love it. You get contour, bronzer, you get highlighter, you get blush. Everything you could imagine is in this palette, and I think it is amazing, stunning. I love it. This is a beautiful blush. I love this. This I think is a spotlight highlighter as well. I think it's Turn It On Pearl. This one is a highlighter for like under your eyes if it's if you set in your concealer. Here's the contour, here's the bronzer. The only thing is I do wish that the bronzer and the contour were in bigger palettes, and then the blushes were in these ones. So you can't get this anymore, but I know that they have brought out 2 more palettes. I have this Tarte Mani palette as well. Haven't used this, but I absolutely love my other Tarte palette, so I know that this is probably going to be as good as that one. And I think this one is the original Mani, so I think I brought out Mani Volume 2. The only difference is the Volume 2 one has just got an extra eyeshadow in there, so this one, instead of having it as taking over 2, it just takes over 1, and you've got 2 different ones in there. But I've seen swatches on this palette and it looks absolutely stunning, so I'm definitely going to keep this. And here I have the MAC Nutcracker palette. This one is the Cool Eyeshadow palette. I think this is such a beautiful palette. I've never ever used this, but just look at that packaging. That is absolutely beautiful. And then that's what it looks like when you open it up. I'm keeping this because it's stunning, and I know that I am going to use it one day. And I've got some of my Revolution eyeshadow palettes. I actually think the majority of these are Revolution eyeshadow palettes. So this one I have is the Neutrals versus Neutrals palette. I think this is really beautiful, but I don't use it. It is pretty though, and I know it's very pigmented. Just look at that, that is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to keep this one because I remember that I really did like it and it blended out really nicely, so this one is going to stay with me. This one is the Deep Dive Reloaded palette. I don't actually have any palettes that are like this, but this didn't blend out as well as I wanted it to. But it is one of those where I don't really have any blues and things like that. I think I'm going to keep it just because of the shades in here. I think if I get another blue eyeshadow palette, then I'm going to get rid of this one, but I don't really have any blues, so if I want to create any makeup tutorials that do have blues and greens in it, then I can use this palette. This one is the Revolution Ultra Eye Contour and Shade palette. I don't know if I want to keep this. I haven't even swatched this. I don't even know if they sell this. Let me see if they even sell this, because that's going to sort of make up my mind whether I'm going to keep it or not. So they do still sell this. I like the fact that it says talc-free formula, because it's one of those where I know that some people are allergic to talc, and I know that it does sort of make it a little bit more powdery. I don't know whether to keep this. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to see if I use it. I mean, it does look pretty good. I don't know how it swatches, obviously, because I've never used it, but I have seen that it does have really good reviews, so I'm going to keep it for the moment, and then I'll decide in my next declutter if I'm going to keep it or not. So next one I have is the Iconic Pro 1 palette. I love these palettes. I'm going to keep this one, and I actually went on a mission to buy the Pro 1 and Pro 2 again, because I'd pretty much used them up. I think they're really, really good. Honestly, if they do still sell these, guys, definitely purchase these. I do prefer the Iconic Pro 2 palette, but honestly, so good. Definitely recommend them. This one is the Iconic Smoky palette. I've never used this palette before. I really like Makeup Revolution, as you can tell. The eyeshadow palettes are really good. Some of the products aren't the best, but some of them are really, really good. So this one is the Iconic Smoky palette. I've never actually used this before. Oh, you know what? I'm going to keep this. I know I probably shouldn't, because I've actually had this in my collection for probably about 4 years and never even used it. Oh, actually, let me see. Oh, I'm going to see if they still sell this. I'm going to keep it. Actually, I'm going to put this in a maybe pile. The next palette that I have is the Makeup Revolution Mermaids Forever palette. This one is one of those palettes where I've actually been keeping it for the last couple of years. I have only ever swatched this, and in all honesty, the swatches were not that good. I feel like that it is quite chalky. The only reason why I actually bought this palette was because it had the name Mermaids in it, and I know that's quite bad to actually buy a palette for that, but I just, look, they don't show up. That one is the only one that shows up, and I feel like that I should just get some Colourpop eyeshadows, but just look, it just, yeah, it doesn't really have any colour payoff. I mean, I think it's a really good idea that they've put loads of different eyeshadows in here, but I think, to be honest, I think I'd probably just go ahead and get a Colourpop palette that has different shades like this in. They are really tiny as well compared to the other eyeshadows from Makeup Revolution, and the swatches just, they're not that good. So it pains me to say this, but I think I'm going to get rid of it, because I just feel like that it needs to go to someone else, because I'm not going to use this, and I haven't used it in the whole time that I've had it. I have the I Heart Revolution Red Velvet palette. I haven't really used this. I think I've used it probably about once. Haven't really done any swatches. I don't think I've actually ever used this, so I'm going to keep this and try it out and see how it goes. Next I have the Revolution Safe Extra Spice palette. I love this palette, as you can see, because I've pretty much used it to death. This shade, Cookie Dough, definitely pretty much gone. I think this is a beautiful palette. I think they're so highly pigmented. Both my sisters do have this and they really liked it as well. But yeah, I think it's good. I think there's only a couple of shades in here that I don't really use, because like vitamin C and things like that, I do have red hair, so anything yellow sort of clashes a little bit with my hair, and then also when I fake tan as well, so I pretty much look like all one orange. So yeah, so I don't really use the yellows in here, but I do think they're really good. I think they're very pigmented. I am going to keep it. I have the Balm palettes as well. As you guys know, I love the Balm. I love the eyeshadow palettes. I love the highlighters. So this one is the Nude palette. I've had this for years, but I'm going to keep it because it's just stunning and it's so highly pigmented. This one's Nude Beach. As you can see, I've used this a hell of a lot, and I do have a broken mirror in there, so I'm gonna need to buy a new one, but I love it. I love the Balm palettes. Oh, this actually looks really gross. So last things I have are my Morphe palettes. Oh, I also have one of these as well. Gonna pop that in there. So this Morphe palette is the 35F. These ones are all 35 palettes. I really like this palette. Have I used it in a while? No. But as you can see, there are certain colours that I do really use from it. So this one and this one, you can see that I've used it quite a lot. I like this eyeshadow palette. I'm going to keep it because I remember that I do like it anyway. I have the 35O palette. Oh, if I can open it. And I have the 35O too. So this one is the 35O palette. I haven't really used this one. As you can see, there's a couple of shades that I've used quite a lot. Do I need it? Probably not. Do I want to keep it? Yes, I do. So this one is the 3502 palette. And this one is the 350 palette. So it actually does look very different. I thought these were going to be pretty much exactly the same. I'm going to keep both because I think the shades are really, really beautiful. This one is the 35K. Oh, I haven't used this in forever. I don't even remember this. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that one because I haven't really used it. 35N. Have I used this one? I don't think I have. I think I bought this one, realised it was all matte shades, and then went to buy the 35W because I think the 35W was basically this, but shimmer shades. Yeah, this one's a 35W. So yeah, this one was basically shimmer and matte shade version of this one. So I'll hold them up so you can see the difference, because they are basically exactly the same, just some of them are more shimmery than the other one. So yeah, as you can see, they are basically exactly the same palette. I don't really use matte shades, so I'm going to get rid of the N one. And this is something coming from me because I never get rid of my Morphe palettes, and I always thought I would never get rid of a Morphe palette. So that one's going. This one, I don't know whether to keep this one. That one is a pretty shade. See how it swatches. That one is a pretty shade. This one's a maybe for the 35W. 35N I got rid of. And then this last one is 35P. Did I have, I swear I had a 35U somewhere. I'm gonna have to have a look. This one is really beautiful. I've never ever used this, but this would be really good if you want some purple eyeshadows. So I'm gonna be keeping this one. So now I'm just gonna have a look at these ones that I have that I left over. So Wild and Radiant, this palette looks really pretty, but I'm going to get rid of it. 35T palette. I'm going to keep this one for the moment, but if I don't use it by the time that I do another declutter, then that is going. 35W. I do like it, but I don't think I use it. I'm going to get rid of this one because I know that I'm not going to use it anyway. There's no point in me keeping hold of stuff that I know that I'm not going to use. And then the Makeup Revolution Iconic Smoky. I'm going to keep it for the moment. I'm going to keep it for the moment. And then if I don't use it by the time I do the next declutter, then I am going to get rid of it. So in total I've got rid of 1, 2, 3,
4, 5,
so I've got rid of 17 palettes, and that is face palettes and eyeshadow palettes, and I feel like I've done so well. So this is the amount that I'm actually getting rid of. So there is loads in there that's going away. So I am either going to be selling it, donating it, or I'm going to be doing a giveaway with them, things like that. So plenty in here. With this one, it is a sad one to get rid of, but I don't use it. It's not really that pigmented, so I'm probably just going to go ahead and get a Colourpop palette that has these colours and things like that in it. So it's a sad day for me, but it really needs to go. So I'm now going to get everything that I've kept and I'm going to put it in here. So these ones are going away, and then I'm going to change it out so I've got all of my new stuff in here. So these are all of the face palettes and eyeshadow palettes that I'm keeping. These ones are all in my drawer, and I do have a couple of ones that aren't going to be in this drawer. There are 4 different ones, but they are going to be in different places. So for instance, I have my Jeffree Star Shane Dawson palette. This one is going to be staying on top of my drawers because I absolutely love it, and that's where it's been for the whole time that I've had it. My Alice in Wonderland palette, this one again is going to be going on top of my drawers because this one has been staying there the whole time and it is just so beautiful. And the last 2, which are the Colourpop Frozen 2, these 2 are going to be in my other drawers because I do need to start using these, and I'm going to be doing some makeup tutorials with them, so that is where those ones are going. But the rest of them, they are staying in this drawer, and I feel like it looks so much better than it did beforehand. So I got rid of 17 palettes. As you can see, I do still have quite a lot of palettes, but like I mentioned, these aren't just eyeshadow palettes, and I feel like I did really well. And I know that there's still a lot in here, but I am going to be using these, and if I don't use them, I will just declutter them in my next decluttering video. So this is me decluttering all of my face and eyeshadow palettes. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do want to check out all of my other declutter videos, then I will link them down below for you so you can check those out. And make sure that you give this video a very big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye!